There are questions about the real nature of Islam. Is it violent? When you have terrorists like Osama bin Laden, when you have groups like ISIS and the Taliban, are they aberrant? Are they misusing the Quran? Or are they taking the origins of the growth of Islam under Muhammad and now applying it to other situations today? In your view, is terroristic Islam a genuine expression of Islam at any level or a perversion of Islam?
Well, Muhammad said in Sahih al-Bukhari, I've been made victorious with terror, right? So if you look at what he's talking about, I mean, he's going around, he's robbing the caravans, he's taking captives, they're killing people. So we know what he means by spreading terror. But what you find is that there are all kinds of different Muslims. There are, some of the Muslims I've met are some of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. There are others who are looking for the opportunity to kill someone like you or me. And so the question is, where does this go back to? Well, you can find all of this in Islam because Islam is based on Muhammad and the revelations he's receiving over the years. And so you can go to passages of the Quran which sound very peaceful. You can go to passages of the Quran which sounds like, yeah, you can fight, but only in self-defense. You go to passages which sound like they're calling for the violent subjugation of the entire world. And so any of these, a peaceful Muslim can point to verses.
Right.
A violent Muslim can point to verses. What's going on here? Well, we know exactly what's going on here. And this isn't a theory that Christians came up with. This is what you find among Muslim scholars when they try to reconcile this. Islam and jihad proceed in stages. And the pattern you find in the life of Muhammad is that when Muhammad was a persecuted prophet with a few followers, he was told to preach a message of peace and tolerance because that's what was in the best interest of the Muslim community at the time. If they'd fought, they would have been slaughtered. So he was taught to preach, yes, God is going to judge you, but let's all get along now. And, to you be your religion and to me be my religion. That's Surah 109. That sounds peaceful. Peaceful Muslims will point to that and say, you see, this is what Islam teaches. Well, sorry, that's not the end. Right? So those were the teachings for a while. Muslims weren't supposed to fight, even in self-defense. Later, Muhammad won more followers. He was able to build alliances with other tribes and so on. And then the message changed to one of defensive jihad. If someone's persecuting you or even making fun of you, if they're doing something to you, then you have a right to fight them back. But don't fight people who don't start it somehow. And there are Muslims who will point to these passages of the Quran. You see, it's self-defense. Who doesn't believe in self-defense? We're not pacifists. We believe in self-defense. That's what Islam is teaching. Nope, sorry, that's not the end of the story either. Because Muhammad, the passages about defensive jihad were revealed when Muhammad, in his life, was strong enough to fight if he had a reason to fight, but not powerful enough to, subjugate people. Later, Muhammad and his followers became the most powerful force in Arabia. And that's when the revelations changed to Surah 9, verse 29, fight those who do not believe in Allah. Right now you're fighting people, and the verse even commands Muslims to fight Jews and Christians specifically until we either pay the jizya or we convert. But they're supposed to fight us until we acknowledge our inferiority or convert. And so here it became not fight people who are attacking you, it's fight people who do not believe. And Muhammad said in tons of hadiths, I've been commanded to fight people until they say there's no God but Allah and I am his prophet. And so he's been commanded to fight people based on what they believe. And so these are the stages that you find in the life of Muhammad. When you're completely outnumbered, peace and tolerance. When you're strong enough to fight, but not strong enough to completely dominate, then you fight defensive jihad, defend yourself. When you are able to subjugate a population, you subjugate it, you take control. Pagans, they have to convert or die. Christians and Jews, they can become dhimmis because, again, according to the Muslim sources, we have true scriptures from God. And so that's the pattern that you find in the life of Muhammad. That's the pattern you find in the Quran. That's the pattern you find in the Hadith. And what's interesting is you can point to any country in the world, it is still following that pattern. If you go to a country where Muslims dominate the society, guess what? Everyone else is a second-class citizen. If you go to areas like certain areas of Africa where Muslims might make up 30 or 40% of the population, they're not subjugating everyone, but you can't mess with them or weapons are coming out, right? They will fight defensively. If you go to a place like the United States where Muslims make up around 1% of the population, what's the message of Islam? Peace and tolerance. They're still following the pattern. Why? because according to Islam, Muhammad is the pattern of conduct. And you see now it's imprinted on the entire world.
Like the old saying, in the minority, a lamb, in equality, a fox, in majority, a tiger.